right, we're on Bikkurim Perek Bet Mishnah Daled. We're continuing our study of comparisons of halachot of different halachic categories. Okay, so we're going to continue in the Mishnah. V'yesh b'bikurim ma she'en ken b'terumah u'b'maaser. There are certain halachot that apply to bikurim that don't apply to terumah and maaser. What are they? Sha'bikurim niknim b'mechubar lekarka. Bikurim become bikurim when they're still attached to the ground. Let's do the Terumah for a second to understand what that means. Niknim b'mechubar lekarka, dichtiv, as it says, bikurei kol asher be'artzam. That's what the pasuk says. Bikurei kol asher be'artzam, everything in the eretz. B'sha'ash em mechubarim be'artzam, bikurim hem, when they are still attached. And we're going to see in Perek Gimel, Mishnah Aleph, how you do that. You might have heard of it. You tie it when it's still connected. You find the first fruit and you tie a little red bendel around it. Okay, etc., etc. So that's already while it's still attached. Whereas Trumot and Maaserot are only once you do miruach hakri, you've already harvested and now you brought it in, you want to bring it into the goren, that's when you designate Trumot and Maaserot. Next, Adam kol sadeh bikurim. A person can make his entire field into bikurim. Okay, and we've learned before that you can't do that with Trumot and Maaserot because it says Reishit, Reishit. Because one second, Reishit bikurei admatcha. I'm gonna look in the Kahati. Right, Reshi Bikurei Admatcha Tavi Beit Hashem. 1 second, but it says Bikurei Kol. Excuse me about Bikurim. May Reshit Kol. Okay, but whereas Trumot and Maaserot, let me just look at the Kahati for a second. Whereas Trumot and Maaserot, you're not allowed to do that. Okay, because we learned in Chala Perek Aleph Mishnah Tet, if you said Kol Garni Truma, if you made my whole goren, you say everything is Truma, Lo Amar Klum. You didn't do anything. Ad she'yishari miksa. You have to leave a little bit. You have to take truma from your produce and not designate all of it your produce. V'chayav v'achrayutam. We learned, remember, about bikurim. Until you bring it into the azara, you're obligated. You're responsible for it. Whereas trumot and maaserot, once you designate trumot and maaserot, if somebody steals it, you don't have to give another trumot and maaserot. Whereas in bikurim, you would have to. Finally, utiunim korban v'shir utnufa v'lina. The bringing of the Bikurim is accompanied by, it's a whole process. Korban, let's see for a second, why Korban? Because it says, Simcha. Ma'ala la v'samachta b'chol hatov. Okay, v'nema lahalan, it also says, v'zavachta shlamim v'achalta shlam v'samachta. You should offer the shlamim, and you eat it there, and you bring Simcha. Ma'kan shlamim, afkan shlamim. Just like here it's shlamim, there it's also shlamim. So therefore, the idea of Simcha is you bring it with a Korban. And Shir. So the Kahati quotes the Gemara in Erchin. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. The Gemara is talking about Shira. Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel, minayin the ikar Shira min Torah. How do you know this idea of saying Shira from the Torah? Okay. We're going to skip a little bit to where I'm quoting over here. Rav Mata Amar, let's see if I can make it a little bigger because it's a little hard to see. Okay. I hope you can see it now. Rav Mata Amar Mehacha. Rav Mata says you learn from here. Tachat, Moshe Rabbeinu is giving them rebuke. Tachat asher lo avadata et Hashem elokecha besimcha ubetuv leivav. Because you didn't worship Hashem with simcha. Remember we learned the pasuk of simcha. You have to have simcha in bikurim ubetuv leivav, with good heartedness. Ezahi avodah shebesimcha. What is an avodah that has joy? Ubetuv leivav, and with good heart. Haviyomar zera shira. That refers to shira. Okay, so shira is an element of simcha. Shira brings gladness of the heart. And I wanted to actually bring in this Gemara because this is actually something that's very important to me. I think many people that the element of singing and music in their lives, they don't sing around the Shabbos table or Shabbat table, and or they've never learned how to do that. And that's something that's really, really important, to learn how to sing, to learn how to have beauty and bring that level of joy. It's very difficult to have without it. All right, end of rant. Let's go back to our Mishnah. That's doing Korban Bashir, Utenufa. How do you know you need tenufa? Tenufa is waving. Let's go back to the psukim that we learned, okay? Because it says, okay, you should give it to the kohen. Here we are. The kohen takes the basket from your hand, okay? And that's why it says, it says, and it says, Yadav tivi'enu itishe Hashem. Okay, it says about the certain korbanot, Yadav tivi'enu, his hand should bring it. Mala alan tenufa, afkan tenufa. So both refer to tenufa, waving. That the kohen would take it, when you would put it in his hand with you, and you would wave it together, wave it up and down. The Bikurim required tenufa. Vilina. Lina means you have to stay overnight. Let's look at the Bar Tenura for a second. Shialin b'Yushalayim kol halayla shelachar hayom she'ebiya bikurim. You stay, excuse me, in Yerushalayim all night, the night after you bring bikurim. That's lina. If you think about it, so you think that so bikurim have these special process. The bringing of bikurim wasn't just here, take it. It was this whole process. You bring it. You also bring in a korban. The shir this is talking about actually is the Leviim. The Leviim were singing a song of Aramim Hashem. Think about the choir, and the person's bringing bikurim. The Leviim are going nuts. Beautiful harmony, and you're waving, and you stay over. It's this moving experience. It's not just this technical, here's my bikurim. But the Mishnah is describing a level of spirituality that's involved and emotion that's involved in the process of bringing bikurim. Let's just finish with our chart. Okay, so we saw in our chart, here we are. Nigdim b'mechuba b'lekarpa, bikurim yes. Terumah Maaser no. Can you make your whole field? Bikurim yes. Chai b'achrayutam, bikurim remember yes until they get to the Beit HaMikdash. And finally, Te'udim korban lina shir u'tenufa. Again, bikurim yes, and the other two, of course, no. We'll stop here. If you have any comments or questions, email me at this email address, arspolter@gmail.com. We'll dedicate this learning to the memory of my father, Rav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Have a good day.